and Georgia Tech are two football programs built on history.
Calvin Johnson went behind himself to get that one.
From legendary players, coaches, and 13 national championships. Well, today, it's a Steel City battle between the Panthers and Yellowjackets from Heinz Field in a Coastal Division clash.
Well, the story of Week 3 in the ACC has been Hurricane Florence that hit the North Carolina coast on Thursday night and is affecting both North and South Carolina as we join you on a Saturday of college football. But as we meet at Heinz Field here today for the 13th meeting all time between Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech, and the Panthers take the field. It's the conference opener for both schools, Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh in the Coastal Division. And with James Bates, West Durham, you'll meet Rebecca Capel here in just a moment. There's a lot of irony in this meeting today. Number one, both are coming off very disappointing losses last Saturday as they head into their ACC opener.
Absolutely. Just a punch to the gut. Both of those teams getting on those buses after the game, you know, and the coaches saying to them, we still have all of our goals in front of us. Boy, if that's coach speak, if that's not coach speak, I don't know what is. But it's true. When Pat Narduzzi says it, when Paul Johnson says it, not just to the media, not just to the fans, but to his team, they mean it, because all those goals are right up there. A bowl game, which both these teams missed last year, and these are proud programs that are used to going to bowls. But more importantly, that championship, that division championship to start off with, that's still in front of them. So which team listens to it, which team believes it more, and which team wants it more and moves one step closer to that goal today?
Well, there's another step of irony as well, Rebecca, and that is both teams were felled last week by the very critical third phase of the game.
That's right, Wes. We're talking about special teams. It can make or break you, and both of these teams found that out the hard way last week. Now, Georgia Tech had 5 freshmen on its kickoff team last week. You will not be seeing that happen again today, because that is when this happened. South Florida returned not 1, but 2 kickoffs for a touchdown, both in the first quarter, within 3 minutes of each other. And Pitt can relate. Punter Kirk Christodoulou had trouble all night against Penn State. His 36-yard line drive gave its coverage team 0 time to set up here. That was returned for a touchdown. Now, last week, obviously, Pitt had to deal with some terrible weather conditions. It was pouring down rain here at Heinz Field. That is obviously not the case here today. And as far as field conditions go, this looks great. This is a brand new field. It was installed earlier this week, guys.
Rebecca, thank you very much. And there is Paul Johnson in season number 11 in downtown Atlanta. Georgia Tech also trying to get back on the winning streak on the road. The Jackets have lost 10 of their last 11 ACC road games. Their last road win in conference play, James, 2016 at Virginia Tech, where Matthew Jordan was the starting quarterback.
Well, in 5 straight road losses for Paul Johnson's team, and he told us this week on the telephone as we take a look at his counterpart across the way, Pat Narduzzi. And doesn't Pat Narduzzi know it as well? A defensive-minded man. But it was Paul Johnson that said, if you want to win on the road, you better bring a good defense, and you better have a sound kick game.
Sean King set to kick it away. You got to look at Maurice French, who ran a kick back for a touchdown against Albany in the season opener here 2 weeks ago for the Panthers. Pitt starts the campaign with 3 straight at home. And we're underway from Heinz Field. Remember, they changed this kick cover unit for Georgia Tech. And that'll change the coverage all the way around as Davis bangs it through the back of the end zone. And here is Kenny Pickett making his 4th career start today.
West, his very first start in college at Pitt, and he never, ever flinched. The number 2 team in the nation, and it was number 8, Kenny Pickett, that led the charge, coming up so many big plays and extending plays, using those feet, and he's really good throwing the football on the run. He's only grown, not only as a player, but in confidence that he certainly didn't lack. Came onto this campus as a leader in the offseason. Rough go in the rain against Penn State right here a week ago, though.
Play fake by Pickett, looking for French here on the near side, and he will slip down after about a yard or 2. Brant Mitchell, the linebacker, was over there for Georgia Tech, as was Jalen Johnson. for Nate Woody's defense. And one thing Nate Woody, the Georgia Tech defensive coordinator, pointed out to us, James, and we saw it on the first snap. A lot of big packages for Pittsburgh. Lots of tight ends, fullbacks, the whole bit.
Well, it's, you know, welcome to college football. I certainly wouldn't want to be a coordinator trying to match up personnel, trying to get them in and out with those substitutions. They were hurt a little bit last week, but the speed.
Here's Kadre Olison. Oh, no, this is, yes, Olison breaking free, and he'll have a first down up the far sideline. Banged out of bounds near the 45. 18-yard run for Olison and a first down.
Well, and just like Georgia Tech, this is exactly what Pitt wants to do to you. Just the bangers inside, the big bodies left by the big Bookser, the big tackle and company all along that offensive line, maulers. And Coach Woody knew it coming in that they would have a team that's trying to run the football just like their offense does.
Pickett from the gun here, first down. Working to the right and looking for French and almost threw it to Jalen Askew.
Well, they established the run, and that first play call of this football game, you better believe it's a Pitt team thinking, well, they've been focusing on shutting down Olison and shutting down Hall all week. Let's get them a little play pass, play action. They convert on the first one. This one's incomplete, so it's second down and long for Coach Narduzzi's offense.
Taysir Mack and Shockey Jacques-Louis here to the near side. That's Jacques-Louis in motion, the entertaining freshman who's come to the ball game here. And the second down carry belongs to Olison. And he'll crash over near midfield. Tariq Carpenter, who had the interception at South Florida last week to stop Georgia Tech.
Well, nice fill here by the safety, Tariq. You got to be physical to play receiver at Georgia Tech, and therefore on the other side of the ball, you got to be physical to play in the secondary. If you're going to practice against these guys week in and week out. Good job of stepping up and filling it by those safeties. Safeties and linebackers. You read it, you got to react, and that way you don't give backs a whole lot of room to wiggle. Now a third down and long.
And this is Darren Hall getting the carry to the left side. And an open field tackle for Georgia Tech by Quez Jackson. True freshman from Fort Valley, Georgia, who is the cousin of the great Steeler All-Pro Greg Lloyd, James.
Feeling right at home in the Steel City, huh? See 44. See the vision. We talk about great vision from the backs all the time.
Especially 44s. Especially guys who are 44.
You got that right. Not anymore, though. I'm getting too old. My eyes are going. But a good angle, and you see him break down. Don't fall for the okie-doke coming back inside. Stay on that hip. Good angle. You drop them and get off the field. That's a nice 3-and-out for Nate Woody's defense.
Brad Stewart to return the punt for Georgia Tech. Christodoulou, wobbly kick. Fair catch called for and made by the veteran Stewart. 37-yard punt. Fair caught. Georgia Tech will start around its 13-yard line. And here comes the senior from Hamilton, Georgia, TaQuon Marshall.
Boy, he's a big-time player, and he's a big-time leader. This team rallies around him. But Coach Johnson, not 100% pleased with the way his senior signal caller has led this charge early in this season. He just wants some consistency. Consistency in making the right decisions, making the right reads, but more importantly, taking care of that football. He's got to value the football like a veteran should and take care of it here today.
Jordan Mason is the B-back. Cravante Benson lost for the season with the ACL last week in Tampa. And here's the option with Searcy around the edge. And Quay Searcy picks up about 5 before DeMar Hamlin, the free safety, comes down to make the play.
Searcy and Lynch. Cottrell as well having a big day in this offense for Paul Johnson. Last week against USF. Talk about a hot day. Team's getting lucky here today. The weather taking care of them. Even though we hit off the top, the hurricane just wreaking havoc down in the Carolinas. That's not the case here today. Beautiful football.
Counter with Marshall and into the teeth of the Pitt defense, and he'll get a yard to the 19. It'll be third and about 4 or 5 for Georgia Tech. Another tackle by DeMar Hamlin. And Dennis Briggs, another safety in the box.
Nowhere to go. The misdirection, the quarterback counter is all it is. You see the big bodies coming, and it's a good job reading. There's our guy, Sean Idowu,
We talked at length yesterday with him about this offense and how it's slowed down as he's gotten older. It's gotten a little bit easier. Let's see if his D can get off the field here on third.
Jackets was 6 of 14 against Pittsburgh a year ago on third down in a win in Atlanta. Be back, and this is Mason, and he'll come up short. Only a couple of yards. It'll be 4th down and 2. Idowu the stop. And that'll be 3 and out for the spread option here on possession number 1.
Well, Idowu told us in the meeting yesterday he's going to try to get 20. Looks like he's got 2, according to my book, from up here. Just reads it. Hey, don't mess with those big guys if you don't have to. I guarantee you, a freshman or a sophomore Idowu goes and feels like he needs to take on that hey, slip on by, makes a big play for a stop on and forces a 4th down. Looking good early.
Presley Harvin's punt toward Rafael Araujo-Lopes is fair caught at the 37. Each school's had it once. Almost 5 minutes gone. Opening period at Heinz Field and no score. Pittsburgh's second possession starts from its 37th. On a nice, clear Saturday here in the Steel City with James Bates, Rebecca Capel, our producers Dave Berenger, our director Lonnie Dill, and our great ACC football crew. We welcome you back. And here's Pickett wanting to throw. Araujo-Lopes the catch. And works his way up the sideline. Be close to a 1st down. Now flag has come in as well from the side judge as he was measured to the 44.
After the play, personal foul, number 36, defense. Late hit, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Malik Rivera on Araujo-Lopes.
Did he step out a couple steps prior? That's what I didn't see, and obviously that's what Malik Rivera would argue. There isn't a helmet-to-helmet included there, which, of course, they're looking at in replay. Had he gone upstairs up top, replay, remember, can call a targeting without it being called on the field.
Big-time play in the backfield. Henri St. Amour takes Olison down behind the line. Senior from Suwanee, Georgia, who Pat Narduzzi shared with us yesterday. St. Amour was on the Michigan State recruiting list when Narduzzi was the defensive coordinator at East Lansing, James. And Pat said he's a quick, athletic guy at that end spot. And, you know, we looked at him when I was at Michigan State. Sure enough, he's filling that role in Nate Woody's 3-4.
Everybody wants those big defensive ends, defensive tackles. Everybody's looking for him, I'm sure.
Play fake for Pickett. And a completion near the 1st down into Georgia Tech territory. And this is the first catch. Araujo-Lopes, another catch this time. Well, for a moment, Butler Jenkins might have had it, but instead, Rafael Araujo-Lopes, 11 yards, and it is a 1st down.
They haven't really gotten big into the jet sweep game just yet, but they've got so many weapons on the outside. Guys like Lopes, as we'll isolate him here. A nice little route, puts his feet in the ground, and comes out of that break, and a good job by Kenny Pickett of hitting him. Nice timing there, 2 guys on the same page. Pickett just a sophomore, but Lopes been around for a while. He's a senior.
Here's Olison again, trying to find the cutback, and the big back breaks through. Inside the 10, touchdown, Kadri Olison in Pittsburgh. 31-yard run. He had a touchdown last Saturday night against Penn State, James, on a very similar dive-type play that they scored on here.
It was about the same time of the game. Again, a little misdirection and a good job by George Aston, the fullback, coming over and helping lead the way. And right down the heart of this Georgia Tech defense.
Rose Olison. He had a 28-yard touchdown catch early in the game against Georgia Tech last year.
And here is Kessman for the point after. Scarton is the holder, and the point is good. 5 plays, 63 yards, just over 100 seconds. And Pitt on the board first here today.
Keys to the game starting for Georgia Tech. Hold serve. Hold serve. That's right now. Here's your chance to hold serve. If it's going to go back and forth, you can't give up a series.
No return for Wanye Thomas on the kick of Kessman. And that'll give us a quick break here as Georgia Tech plays from its 35. Toss for Searcy, and he will spin from Virginis, and then the ball pop loose. Pittsburgh says they have it. His crew has climbed down amongst them. And Jerry Magdalena says it stays with Georgia Tech.
Guys going after that football. It's definitely a fumble. Good job to go after the rock. And that's not what you want to see if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. It was a win last year for Georgia Tech, 35-17. But Paul Johnson's team put the ball on the ground 5 times. They lost 4 of those fumbles and still won.
That's Jordan Mason, the B-back, trying to fight through. He'll get a couple of yards. 3rd down coming up, Rebecca.
Well, guys, remember TaQuon Marshall hurt his left big toe last week in South Florida. He says it got bent backwards. So leading up to this game, he has spent about 5 hours a day getting treatment on that toe. And for a quarterback who relies so much on his feet, he told me coming in that he's going to have to adjust his game to compensate. So look for more of those handoffs and some more pass plays.
Well, the Pitt coaches were concerned about his quickness at the edge, especially James. Base set, 3rd down for Georgia Tech. Little counter coming back here to the near side, and Quentin Lynch will be taken down in space, and DeMar Hamlin has already got a handful of plays for the Panthers out of their secondary.
Excellent job of reading by Hamlin, and an even better job of heating it up and going and making the play before a guy like Lynch, who can be so dangerous in open field, can turn his shoulders. You make up your mind, read, now react, now get there. Not everybody can react like that. Good job by number 3, who had an interception. A 79-yard return in week 1.
Jackets are going to fake it, and they're not going to get it. Antoine Owens, the defensive lineman, got knocked down on the fake. What do you think, James?
Well, I just trying to see, didn't see it in real time, but an excellent job of everybody staying home. Nobody bailing and getting out of there. Paul Johnson had one up his sleeve, saw something that they thought they could get away with as they watched the tape of the punt cover team, or the punt return team, rather, for Pitt coming in. A lot of time on special teams, though, spent by these teams.
Play fake by Pickett. He'll keep it far side, and got taken out of bounds, and a flag will be thrown against Bruce Jordan Swilling.
You know, so much more time was spent looking at special teams by both of these teams.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 12, defense. Half the distance to the goal, penalty, 1st down.
Now, is this... Now, they're protecting the quarterback's legs in the pocket.
Yep.
He's a runner. That's out of the pocket. I just don't know what else you do, because he's not there. He's not in phase where he can just butt his chest up to him. He's got to dive. What if Pickett decides who can run? If Pickett decides to put his foot in the ground and turn it up, that's it. You know, it's linebacker through my linebacker lens, but man, that's a tough one for Swilling, who's been dying to get back out there.
Darren Hall on a cutback. 1st down play from just outside the 10 for the Panthers. Now, remember, James, that's 2 15-yarders. Now, it was already tough enough field position for Georgia Tech. Add the 15 on it. Remember, Arujo Lopes banged out of bounds by Rivera. That helped extend the drive, too.
Absolutely. We saw where that one ended up.
So Pittsburgh, who scored on the 31-yard run by Cadre Olson, now has their 7th offensive possession of this young season in the red zone. Brought to you by CPI Security. 4 touchdowns in 6 previous trips for the Panthers. And here's Darren Hall bouncing in for the touchdown. Well, they stymied the fake punt. And almost 10 minutes into this first quarter, Pittsburgh's got a 2-touchdown advantage.
First one goes to one senior, Quadri Olson. The second, the big senior out of Youngstown, Ohio. There was vision in the cut. Another good job by his offensive lineman, by fullback Aston. Well, this is power football. They're huddling up, getting after it.
And the point is good. All Panthers early. Back-to-back touchdowns. This one off the stop of the fake punt, and Darren Hall cashes it in. Bright, sunshiny Saturday in the Steel City on the banks of the Allegheny. And now with a 2-touchdown lead, Alex Kessman set to kick it away, and Georgia Tech has put Amari Jarrett back there in front of Wanye Thomas. Touch of the knee. Jack Marshall straight ahead, and this is Jerry Howard, the B-back, number 15 into the ball game for the first time, sophomore from Rock Hill, South Carolina. He had multiple carries in a half-dozen games a year ago, and that was behind the efforts of Kervonte Benson, who finished with over 1,000 yards, as did TaQuon Marshall at quarterback.
You mentioned Kervonte Benson. I'll bet you Pitt, the defense is glad that he's not playing today. He ran through them. They still haven't stopped him from last year at 35-17 win.
This is Marshall. Option, and this is Howard around the edge, and Georgia Tech has their first down of the day with the big sophomore Jerry Howard.
You know what's impressed me the most with the guys on the edges, the outside, the backs, the wing backs, and the receivers for Georgia Tech is how they've adapted, and they don't have to cut every play. The new rule in college football, it changes things, especially for Paul Johnson's team. It shows their toughness and their athleticism that they've done a good job. Guys like Quentin Lynch stand out, Cottrell as well, Quay Searcy. They get out there and they can still block up top and still do their job.
Jerry Howard fights for a yard or two toward the 45 on first down, and Rashad Weaver, who had a play behind the line the other night against Penn State, with Sean Idowu in linebacker. Idowu had 13 tackles last year, up his 94 in the campaign in the contest with Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was sitting down yesterday. He admitted it was a little bit of a shocker. You know, he had a fumble recovery in that game, too. He said, you know, I thought I'd go and have about 4 or 5 because I'm not right in the middle. The guy in the middle gets all the tackles against Georgia Tech. But he's already got a couple here today.
Yep. 15 minutes in the books. All Pittsburgh so far at Heinz Field. Olsen and Hall with touchdown runs in this ACC opener in the Coastal Division for both schools. Second quarter next. 14-0 Pittsburgh. We get ready to go to quarter 2 here at Heinz Field. Disappointing opening 15 minutes for Paul Johnson's club, James.
Well, he wanted to keep it clean. They had the one ball that went down on the ground, so no turnovers. He's got to keep that ball off the ground. And just 30 total yards to the 109 for Pitt. 0 for 3 on third downs.
Second period starts with second down. Marshall faked the pitch, in trouble, and then got combined on the tackle. Boy, the Panthers did a really good job there. Shane Roy, the nose tackle, 93. And then also it looked like Elijah Zeiss, James.
It takes discipline to run this offense, and it takes even more discipline to stop them. And you can't freelance. You can't just, hey, they're hurting us here, they're hurting us here. I'm gonna go run past this ball because I got to go help my buddies out on the other side. So many times against USF, how many times those big plays last week, it was a cutback. It hasn't happened against Pitt today because they played disciplined football.
Slot set for the Jackets out of the timeout. Marshall going to keep it and run into Idowu. And then also a little help from Rashad Weaver, I believe. And Weaver got there, and then Jazzy Stocker out of the secondary.
Well, they go empty. There's nobody back there. They send out the backs and clear them out. It's, you know, you get some yardage, but I'm not sure you're going to get 10 yards. But it's, so thinking it might have been TaQuon calling his number there, and that's exactly as he's pleading his case, what it looks like.
5 plays and a punt, and a fair catch called for and made by the Panthers. That was Paris Ford on the back end of a 37-yarder from Presley Harvin. Back to Heinz Field in a moment. Here is Maurice French on a little sweep play. Fumbled the ball. And let's see, did Pittsburgh get back on it? They did.
Fortuitous bounce for the guys in the navy blue jerseys, and Nate Woody upset his group didn't fall on it, I'm sure.
Well, I'll say that is just what Georgia Tech needed to pop right back into this football game, give their offense a short field, and it's a good job to. We'll go ahead and maybe give him a little bit of credit reaching back, Caleb Oliver putting a hand on that ball, but I think more than anything, it was just a last-ditch effort to get a piece after he kind of felt a little shake from French.
Well, we saw Oliver in the lid lifter for the Jackets against Alcorn. We were impressed with that youngster. Second down. Olison trying to get ahead of steam, and the door got shut. Bruce Jordan Swilling back in the lineup today. He missed the first 2 ball games with injury, James.
Yeah, he had the hamstring injury, and then even after he missed some from camp with the hamstring, he got in a scooter accident right before the season started, and he wasn't 100% available when David Curry went out for the targeting call against USF last weekend.
Yep.
So just trying to get him back into a groove. He's too good of a player to be sitting over on the bench.
See Paul Johnson going at it with his offensive line, getting those guys set up. Georgia Tech coming off their best possession, but still nothing to really generate offensively. And there's a throw to convert the 3rd and long. And the catch made by Tasir Mack, the transfer from Indiana, who's been a nice find for Pat Narduzzi's team.
They only bring 3 guys. Just 3 guys there on the rush. All the time that Pickett needs. But if you only bring 3, then you've got 8 to cover. And you got to know where those 6 are. You got to know where those routes are being run and where that quarterback's looking. That's too easy of a pickup for Pitt. You've got them deep. You've got a chance to get off the field in a 3rd down and long, and you give them life. Oh, that can't happen if you want to win this football.
Possession for the Panthers. Little flea flicker. Pickett lining up. Going to shoot it deep. Tasir Mack is there. Mack down the far sideline. Banged out around the 15. 60-yard throw from Kenny Pickett to Tasir Mack.
I love it. Love the play call. It's sudden change. It's not by a big turnover, but it's by a turnover on downs. It's a defense that comes out on their heels, maybe not expecting it, maybe hanging their heads a little bit, feeling sorry for themselves, trying to get to the halftime locker room. You get them sleeping. And a big-time play for Pitt, trying to make it 21-0 here with 4:30 left in the first half.
Hall will stay in the game at the running back spot. Gets the carry. Into the 10 goes Darren Hall. You could tell in visiting with the Pitt coaches and players yesterday, they just needed something good to happen early today, James.
Watching the Penn State game, the final was 51-6 over your Keystone State rival. I was dreading going and watching that game because I didn't see it live.
Yeah.
And they fought. They fought through. It certainly didn't feel like a 51-6 fight. It was just really sloppy play. And they're playing cleaner and continuing to fight here today, that's for sure.
Hall looking for the cutback, and 3 Jackets are going to hit him at the 8. Caleb Oliver, Brant Mitchell in on that tackle. Looks like Antoine Owens also fighting through there. Desmond Branch.
There's one more look at the trickery. All back to Pickett. And you know, it's a good job defensively. The safeties were in position.
Pittsburgh's got it. 3rd down and 1 at Georgia Tech's 8.
Look at this I formation.
Kadri Olison left side. Touchdown Pittsburgh. 2nd rushing score from Olison.
Never thought I'd see the day when a fullback and a tailback lined up behind him, quarterback under center, looked a little bit different. Good job, not only by the offensive line, but that lead back, just straight lead. That's all it is.
4 plays, 77 yards in 2:08. And Kessman's point after is good. And the Panthers, and that's the final play of the first half. Jackets will have the ball to start half 2. As Rebecca Capel visits now with Pat Narduzzi.
Well, Coach, you hate to see your quarterback go down at any time. Luckily, he walked off the field. But initial thoughts when that happens and what it could potentially mean for the second half?
Yeah, well, you know, it takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. You kind of go, what's going on here? But I think Kenny's going to be fine. So we'll check him at halftime.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Rebecca, thank you. Thanks to Pat Narduzzi. Hardy's ACC halftime report from our studio with Ashley Shamati is coming up next. 1976, and this is Tony Dorsett, College Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer, just an amazing talent from Hopewell, PA, and boy, helped Johnny Majors and those guys to a national championship. Let's check in with Rebecca. She's with Paul Johnson.
Coach, what sort of adjustments need to happen in the second half to make up some ground?
Well, there's a couple things we can try, but we just got to play better. We've got to block better, execute what we're doing better, and tackle better. And if we'll do those things, we'll play better. There's a couple things we can do to try to help them.
Right, good luck in the second, Coach.
Thank you.
And, of course, here's a look at our Southwest Airlines first half stats out of Rebecca's visit with Coach Johnson. And the total yards number, James, and the average yards first down is interesting because Georgia Tech took a long time to get that stat cranked up.
Block better, execute better, and tackle better. Well, that about covers it, doesn't it?
Yep. And Kenny Pickett returned, and he's got a brace on the outside of that left knee. He left late in the first half. And we'll see if he gets the ball when Pittsburgh takes possession. But the Jackets will have it first. Tessman will kick it away, and Wanye Thomas will touch a knee, and the Jackets will scrimmage from their 25-yard line, trailing 21-0. Things will not get easier for Paul Johnson's team, regardless of the outcome today, because number 2 Clemson visits Grant Field at Bobby Dodd Stadium next Saturday. And then Pittsburgh goes on the road in the Coastal, James, to Carolina. Tar Heels 0-2 and now have the cancellation with UCF. So Larry Fedora's team, who had 5 games in 26 days to start the season, gets to take their breath. But here comes Pitt feeling good, too.
Well, and like Pitt coming off of that Penn State loss last weekend, you better believe Larry Fedora, with that extra time, he's going to have an angry bunch of Tar Heels, too.
Here's Marshall, option play. He will keep it. Has 10, has 15. Does TaQuon Marshall on the first play. And James, quite frankly, that's the best he's looked carrying the ball today, I think.
Oh, it really is. I mean, decisive, makes up his mind and goes. Even on the big Howard run earlier, double clutching, you know, you hate to see things start to snowball. You have a couple mishaps. Coach is on you a little bit, not making the right reads, not valuing the football, as Paul Johnson puts it. You start to question yourself.
Marshall thought about it, and Pitt swallowed it up with Rashad Weaver. Nathan Cottrell was the pitch guy, but, boy, Weaver was in the backfield right away.
Well, and going backwards there before the play, thanks to the penalty flag, and this time, thanks to Weaver and that Pitt defense. Knifing through the penetration will kill this option attack. And first play out the gate, first down. Then you stumble. You got them on their heels. You got to keep them on their heels, especially in this type of system.
Here's Marshall. Quick throw. Offline for Camp, who slipped down ahead of the coverage of Dane Jackson, the corner.
And that was Camp, that the miscue package that we showed you guys earlier there at halftime. With the ball thrown over his head here. This time it's on Camp because the ball seemed to be on the money. But he slips coming out of his break. Rebecca did the hit earlier, even though it's rained a ton. It's a brand new field and it's nice and dry. No excuse. So let's see if they can up that 1 of 7 third down conversion. They've got to go all the way to midfield, though, for a fresh set of downs.
Stewart and Camp are the wide receivers. Marshall in trouble. Dodging more trouble, and finally goes down, and then it's fumbled, and it's scooped up, and this is Rashad Weaver with the fumble recovery. Flag has gone down. Helmet has come off. That was the helmet of TaQuon Marshall.
And Marshall and the Jackets might get bailed out here. It's a flag that comes down at Could be a face mask of some sort, and it's about the only way it looks like that they were going to get out of that third down and forever. Here's a look at the end of it again. Nowhere to go for Marshall. And that's what they're going to call it right there. It's going to be a first down. 15 yards on Pitt.
First penalty of the day against Pittsburgh.
Pat Narduzzi's arguing that he had the top of his helmet, but it's the same result.
The ruling on the field before the change of possession was recovered by Pitt. Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
The first penalty of the day against Pittsburgh bails out a Georgia Tech turnover, a miss on third down, James. I mean, it's a full-service penalty in terms of momentum. Now, can Georgia Tech do anything with it, right?
Right. But they cannot go backwards. Whether by penalty or by a miscue, a mishandled snap, or a pitch, they have got to keep their foot down on the pedal here. Can they keep it going now after, here's a 4-yard gain. That's fine. That's what you want on first down. That's a win on first down for Georgia Tech. Now back it up. Be consistent. Not just TaQuon Marshall as a team, as a unit. Be consistent.
Second down and 6, just over midfield. Jordan Mason, he and Jerry Howard have rotated at the B-back spot today. Remember, Trevante Benson, their starter last year and in the first 2 ball games this year, lost last week with an ACL injury at South Florida. There's Marshall squeezing away from Weaver again. Took a big lick. TaQuon got bent around there as he was trying to circle the edge.
Nice job by Weaver. We saw it earlier here a few plays ago, early in the second half. He's going to knife through there. He's going to take a chance to come back underneath, but it's such good pursuit by the rest of his guys there on defense, it doesn't really matter. Misses the tackle, won't get credited, but he had a lot to do with that stop.
3rd and 5, Georgia Tech 1 for 7 on third down. Mason, first down to the 40. Jordan Mason, who runs with that little forward lean, James. 6'1", 212-pound redshirt freshman, Gallatin, Tennessee, the first down.
Well, he doesn't have the experience that Trevante Benson does, but he is a good-looking runner, and that lean, that body type, the squatty body, the strong runner that can put some lean into it, run with those pads down, is a perfect fit for the B-back in this offense. And that dive play that gave Pitt fits last year works to move the chains.
That's Searcy in motion. Marshall pitches, and this is Mason around the edge. Jordan Mason inside the 20, 15, and inside the 10. First and goal, Georgia Tech at the 7 before Wergenis, the linebacker, saved the touchdown on a 33-yard run.
Well, Tech fans, that has to look and feel a whole lot better. Everybody firing off the ball, winning the battle up front. Your quarterback doesn't question the pitch, puts it out there. And puts it out there nicely for Mason, and he gets some help on the perimeter. You're used to seeing those bodies on the ground. Good job blocking on the edges by the receivers. Good job blocking down the field by Camp. Inside the 10 and knocking at the door, trying to get their first touchdown. Have got to continue to move forward.
Jerry Howard's come in. Here's Marshall on the follow play. It'll be second and goal just outside the 1. So Georgia Tech, who came into the ball game 6 touchdowns and 11 red zone possessions, is in the CPI security red zone here on the opening possession of the second half. And we played 5 minutes at quarter 3 here at Heinz Field. Howard stays in as the B-back. That's Searcy in motion. Marshall on the follow again. Boy, he got wrapped up right at the goal line. It'll be third down for Georgia Tech. Elias Reynolds banged in there from the linebacking spot, 44, but he had some help, James.
Well, they do a good job of making sure that that dive doesn't hurt them, taking away that dive, and then it's just the next man up. Sean Idowu was back out there. He left the field earlier. That's good to see, too, for Pitt. Trying to get a big goal line stand here. Georgia Tech looking for some points. There, see the communication. All those new bodies, all those new faces trying to be on the same page.
Marshall diving, and he hit the end zone, but did he get enough of it to get in? 4th down. Marshall seems like he got in, James. Let's have a look here. Oh, they may look at this now.
Yeah, and see, if you look right there, that's just the back end of it. Wasn't sure if the knee was down or not then. I don't know that the knee, you piece those two together.
The ball popped loose.
But the ball still was across the plane. So there, the dive forward. This should be a touchdown.
The runner did break the goal line plane with the ball. Therefore, touchdown.
It's the right call. Good job.
How about this drive? Saved on the face mask penalty on a sack fumble by Pitt, and then review confirms the touchdown, which is Marshall's 3rd TD run of the year, James.
And it was, other than that, I mean, it could be all kinds of ugly. You give that ball back to Pittsburgh if they get a 3-and-out and they're out of there, or after that 1st down on the 1st run. Oh, what a big drive, not just for this game, but for this season for Georgia Tech.
And the extra point is no good from Brenton King. Hit the upright, caromed off.
Momentum. It may not seem like a huge deal right now because you don't get the extra point, but you got to finish.
What do you tell them, James? You ever come in here?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Tee it up, right?
Yeah.
Go down there to Permane Brothers, right there on Forbes Avenue, the heart of the Oakland area. Kick. 21-6 after the missed extra point.
All that matters right now, if you're a Pitt Panther, is that he's running back out there on the field because that looks scary. Now, we'll say this, though, for a guy who relies on those legs so much, extend those plays, there's no way around it. It slows you down a little bit, and you don't love it.
Flag down. Here's Pickett on the run, and he'll just flip it into the bench incomplete. Henri St. Amour was tracking him, and this might be procedure on Pittsburgh.
Illegal formation, offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Not only is Pickett back for Pittsburgh, here's David Curry's debut for Georgia Tech, and he's our hearty star to watch, James.
Well, he's got to make sure that he's not too antsy, goes flying over trying to make all the plays. Play your assignment football. It's been a big deal because when he does play assignment football in the first couple weeks, he's been more productive than anybody out there on that Georgia Tech defense. He's got to get out there and lead and make some plays, but do it within the scheme because that's been a little bit of the concern here the last couple weeks, especially against USF.
Play fake. They'll shoot it center of the field. That's Aston, the fullback. Boy, nice catch by the big back at 240 pounds, George Aston.
Hey, 2 can play at that game. You lull him to sleep with a guy that does nothing but block the whole way through, right side of your screen. He's going to release here. He's not blocking anybody. And Pickett puts it right in the breadbasket of George Aston, who's done everything that's asked of him every single time out there. Boy, has he had a lot to do with those 21 points here in this football game, thanks to his blocking.
Here's Taysir Mack, a big leaping grab at the 45 in front of Trey Swilling at the cornerback spot for Georgia Tech, and Mack has come up big today. That's a 15-yard catch. Boy, I like the looks of number 11, James.
Absolutely. An Indiana Hoosier a year ago. He's a nice transfer in. Look at him go up and make this grab and pull it down. We've seen a couple drops here by both teams in this game. Balls they should have caught that were maybe a little bit more difficult than the average catch. And how big is that one? It's a chain mover.
Wildcats set now. Pickett's come all the way out. They're going to hand it here, and this is Jacques Louis turning the corner for the first time today.
The handoff to 18.
Jacques Louis, who's got a twin brother, Rocky Jacques Louis. It's my all-time favorite this year so far, by the way.
When you run through what looks to be 15 white uniforms and still get positive yardage, there is no way I thought that was going to be anything positive. They can call you Shocky. You love saying that name, too.
Shaheem, known as Shocky, twin brother Rocky is also my favorite. I told you.
One of two brothers, and he's got 5 sisters as well from Fort Myers.
Olsen to about 30 as Pittsburgh trying to answer the Georgia Tech touchdown. Brandon Adams, the nose tackle out of Brentwood, Tennessee, to stop for Georgia Tech. The interesting story yesterday in talking to Sean Idowu and Rafael Araujo-Lopes was the young guys that Pat Narduzzi has brought into this program that have the, for lack of a better term, James, the competitive gene. And Jacques Louis is one of these guys who's not scared to ask seniors, hey, what are we doing here? You know.
And what can I do to be better right now?
Yep. Pickett in the flat. Araujo-Lopes. It'll be first down to the Georgia Tech 20. Chased out by Carpenter. 11 yards there for the first down play.
A few moments ago, Nate Woody's defense had Pittsburgh in a 3rd down and long. They had taken back control of the momentum to start this second half by finally scoring on offense. They're going to get off the field. Then the big completion. The nice catch by Mack. And Pitt hasn't looked back. They have been rolling every snap since then. Georgia Tech's got to stop the bleeding here.
Pickett wants to throw and bounced it incomplete. They're calling that a catch? At the 21-yard line behind the stick. Okay, second down. Georgia Tech bench thought it was incomplete. I thought it might have skipped the ground to Araujo-Lopes.
And just to finish up that story real quick you're talking about, is we'll watch Araujo-Lopes make this catch. Hands under his, you offer a loss of 2, but he said Jacques Louis came in and said, hey, I heard that guys are running hills. He called up one of the seniors, wanted to go run hills and get better. The senior had something come up and didn't go and yelled at him.
Olsen inside the 15. 3rd down coming up for Pittsburgh. Off the 14 of Georgia Tech. 21-6 our score. Under 4 to play in the 3rd here at Heinz Field. Coastal Division of the ACC. Conference openers for both. And there's the dirty laundry on Pittsburgh scoring this year, James.
Yeah, 6 points in that Penn State game a week ago.
33 against Albany in the opener and didn't put any points on the board in the second half. Araujo-Lopes trying to get a block on the edge. Boy, took a big lick. That was Carpenter again. Tariq Carpenter out of Long County, Georgia, not going to go down without a fight, James.
Again, we've called his name a few times from that safety spot coming up. Mentioned how you got to be physical and tough to play against your own offense. Bringing a load. Gave himself a woo. Ric Flair style as well. Deserved one.
And here is Kessman now, who on the year missed his only field goal. 35-yard try last week against Penn State. This is 33. And that is good. So a 33-yard field goal by the Panthers. They answer the Georgia Tech touchdown. We get a break at Heinz Field. No return on the play for Thomas. Jackets will have it at their 25 when we continue from Heinz Field.
Bates kids sure enjoyed the surfing, the swells from that Hurricane Florence, trying to make some lemonade out of Mother Nature's lemons.
Marshall wants to cut it loose. Jalen Camp wide open, dropped it.
Well, Paul Johnson said to Rebecca coming out of the halftime locker room, We'll draw some stuff up for them, and we feel like it will work. But we've got to block better, we've got to tackle better, and we've got to execute better.
What, 2 big drops, James? Remember the Brad Stewart one in the first half?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Nobody in the shot.
And those shots, you don't take them very often. And you build. You set it up, then boom, you hit them on them. When you go for the home run, you got to take advantage.
Now Marshall just going to hang it into the Pitt bench. Nathan Cottrell was the closest Georgia Tech player. And now it's quickly 3rd and 10. Well, Pittsburgh has played well today, James, but Georgia Tech has only been able to take advantage of one sequence, and that was the sack fumble last possession that had the penalty tag to it. Other than that, they haven't helped themselves with plays, have they?
No.
And that's got to frustrate Newland, North Carolina native Paul Johnson. So after back-to-back pass plays, 3rd and the full 10. Marshall the pitch. Clinton Lynch dodges one man and then fumbled the ball. Pittsburgh says they have it, and they do.
Look who it is. It's Rashad Weaver going to come up with the fumble recovery. He's been around that football all afternoon on the 3rd down and 10. It's a nice pitch. Outside and a great job. There's our guy, Sean Nadoju, coming from behind, forces the fumble. His head coach, Matt Narduzzi, is fired up as he should be. They finally get one. That's the 3rd time that Georgia Tech has put the ball on the ground here today. Able to recover the first 2. Not the case right here. Last one was wiped out thanks to the penalty, or it would have been 4. They had 5 fumbles last year and lost 4 in this game.
Look out! Trickery. Pickett throwing and broken up and intercepted at Johnny Kerr. Malik Rivera, beg your pardon. Rivera working his way back across the field. And up the far sideline to the 45. Bryce Hargrove made the tackle of Rivera after Pittsburgh went to full gadget play here.
Ends up in the hands of Kenny Pickett, just as that flea flicker did on the last one. And a great job. 2 defensive backs that were beat again, but able to recover. And Rivera bailing out the offense. Last time out, it was Pitt with the big penalty that bailed them out. And here they get bailed out one more time. This time, it's Nate Woody's defense that puts the ball back in their hands.
It was broken up by Kerr, 38, and intercepted by 36, Rivera. How about all that, James? My goodness. Ball at the 44. Marshall out of the base set in the spread option. Quick pitch. This is Mason. Through 2 tacklers. Jordan Mason to the 31-yard line.
Well, twice in this game, we've seen these defensive backs, they're beat. It's over. It's going to be a touchdown. And they put their heads down. It shows they may not always be in the right spot. When they are getting beat, maybe it's an eyes thing, but they're at least coached right to do when they are beaten a little bit. They put those heads down and do everything they can to live and play another down.
It's Jerry Howard fighting for about 5 on first down after the long run by Jordan Mason.
You'd like to coach them from start to finish, but Chill Woods is safeties coach. Joe Speed is the defensive backs coach. You can see that, that they at least they understand that part of their job. And they've done that really well, knocking those balls away of what could have been disaster. An offense that's rolling and has the Pitt Panther defense on its heels a little bit here and there.
2nd and 5 and a long count. Marshall starts the option, trying to turn it back upfield. Boy, Rashad Weaver, 17, has played a whale of a game, almost dictating tempo a little bit from the defensive end spot, James.
Just a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Rashad. He was the one who had the fumble recovery there just a few moments ago. But you're right, Wes. He's just causing fits for that Georgia Tech offensive line. And you better believe this is 4-down territory for Paul Johnson.
Marshall on the follow play, close to the first down. It'll be fourth at about a half-yard. Ran into Idowu on the final play of the third. We go to the fourth at Heinz Field. Fourth down coming up for the Jackets. When we continue, ACC football on your regional sports network. Things I've seen a long time at a football game.
Dorsett, Marino, Fitzgerald, and Ditka.
Look at this.
Dan Marino and Tony are down.
And Ditka wins the race because Rock shoved Fitzgerald out of the way. Oh, the old tight end. How good is that?
Oh, how good is this? A fourth down. Biggest play of the game right now. Right to the action in the fourth quarter.
They set. Marshall will have it. Broke the plane of the 20 easily to the 18 as we start the fourth and final period at Heinz Field. And here's a quick check through three quarters.
How about that hit with 6.5 yards per play? Georgia Tech 5.3, and they're starting to roll forward now. They've picked up a few third down conversions. That one a fourth down conversion for a fresh set of downs. Good job by the offensive line to get low on that fourth down.
And right at the mess point, Jerry Howard got banged back. And there's Rashad Weaver again, James, with help that time from his maiden defensive end, Dwayne Hendricks. I tell you, Weaver made a play behind the line last week against Penn State where he fired off the edge and almost met McSorley on the handoff. He's made several of those type plays here today again.
Sophomore. I mean, we saw Shockey Louis, a couple Floridians that are really big-time futures. Young guys. A lot of young, talented players here at Pitt from the Sunshine State.
That's Lynch in motion. Here's the pitch to the D-back Howard. And Jerry Howard has it around the edge. First and goal at the 7. Good run by the sophomore, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Jerry Howard.
Nice job. Watch 22. Watch Lynch go and pick up his guy to make this happen. And he's staying up high again. You know, that used to always be a cut out there.
Yeah.
And I think it says a lot about the ability of these backs and these receivers. Just, hey, same thing. It's just a different way to go about it. Staying up high, clearing the way for Howard. First and goal now.
Georgia Tech getting some mileage out of the pitch game here. Here is Marshall for the score. TaQuon Marshall on first and goal goes 7 yards for the touchdown.
Going to go for the extra point. Here's this bend back. You get guys washed down, and it's an excellent job. Was that Andrew Marshall or was it 60 up there? I want to make sure I take care of him. I think it was Brad Morgan. It does an excellent job of washing his guy down. And that bend back that you saw work so many times for those big plays against USF. Pitt's done a great job defending today and staying in position. And they will go for 2 now.
So the Rivera interception is cashed in a 24-12 game. Play clock to 8 for TaQuon Marshall. Carter in motion. Marshall looks back. Now going to throw. Stewart offline. Never really had a chance. Defended by Paris Ford, the corner. So we get a timeout. Pitt has still doubled the number on Paul Johnson's Jackets when we come back to Heinz Field.
Welcome back to Heinz Field, where Pitt leads Georgia Tech 24-12. Our Synovus greatness made here. Today's honorary captain, a man who broke the color barrier in collegiate sports, Bobby Greer, former Pitt player back in the 1950s, the only African-American on the Panthers when they faced Georgia Tech in the Sugar Bowl in 1956, a game that almost didn't happen. It was a time of segregation in the South. Georgia's governor at the time tried to get Tech to boycott the game, but the game went on. And guys, he's here today watching his team put on a nice show. The first African-American to ever play in the Sugar Bowl.
Thanks, Rebecca. French in motion. Kadri Olesen slipped down. They'll lose a yard back toward the 24, I believe.
Trying to make it interesting for him. It's just another slip. We've seen a couple slips here today. It's for the most part with all the weather that's been going on. It's, you know, talk about bailing out. I mean, it was a great job by that offensive front and the nice vision as well. That was going to be a big-time run. Olesen knew it.
Out the flat, Arujo Lopes and a big lick. That's Carpenter again. Tariq Carpenter building a reputation, James.
He is, and not just being a physical safety, but doing a good job in coverage as well. He's got to be careful, though. They'll throw that flag right there. It's going up high and helmet to helmet.
Third short
stick, yes. Third down and very short.
I think it's kind of working around his lack of mobility now, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah, cumbersome brace. He's working on that left leg. 3rd and 10. Pickett loads it up and overshoots Mack. Wow. So now all of a sudden the Panthers go 3 and out if you throw the penalty in. And all of a sudden with 11:35 to play, Pat Narduzzi's team up 12, but it seems to be a precarious feeling 12 points.
I mean, how about the momentum swing to go from the 21 to nothing, where it seemed like Georgia Tech couldn't do one thing right, and Pitt couldn't do one thing wrong. Almost like turning the Titanic.
End over end punt. Stewart fields at the 40. Shakes a man. Starts up the far side and out of bounds near the 46 of the Panthers. 37-yard punt. 14-yard return for Savannah, Georgia's Brad Stewart. TaQuon Marshall. Approaching 90 yards of offense. Or rushing offense, I should say, on 26 carries.
The ball ready to snap it there.
Here he comes again. This time cuts it back upfield. He'll have a first down to the 39. And Jahazel Lee is slow to his feet at Georgia Tech center. As we get our bad boy mowers covering ground. Georgia Tech rushing 300 today, 439 in the opener, 419 last week.
They had 602 total yards last year against Pitt.
Off the hands of the intended receiver Stewart, and Marshall took a big lick. I think Dwayne Hendricks was back there, and TaQuon is still down. Wergenis, the linebacker, also there.
Pressure's going to come late. Boom, up top and right about the midsection. Boy, it's been a rough start to the senior season for TaQuon Marshall. On the back end, again, a little bit tougher, but a ball that Brad Stewart sure seemed to have an opportunity to pull in. Would have been another first down. Does stop the clock with 2:21 left.
Second in the full 10. Middle screen from Mason, and he'll get a couple of yards to the 41 on the catch. So Jordan Mason, the redshirt freshman from Metro Nashville in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Pitt just did like a hockey line change. They sent about 5 new bodies in. They weren't ready with their hands in the grass. And a good job by Marshall to snap that ball quickly. None of them were set, and there's an easy first down pickup.
Yep.
So we go under 2 minutes, and now they'll make another big change, trying to get some fresh bodies in there. And that's one thing you can't do that Pitt has done really a good job of throughout, playing their positions, playing what they're taught throughout the week, throughout those Panther periods that Rebecca was telling us about, that they practice to get ready for this. Don't forget your assignments because you're a little bit tired. This is where it counts. Don't give them the big hitter by trying to overrun and make something happen.
Marshall wants to throw again. Another quick shot to Brad Stewart. And inside the 35 to the 33 of Pittsburgh with 1:48 to play. Georgia Tech needs 2 scores. And the Jackets of Paul Johnson also have 3 timeouts.
Gets out of bounds. Marshall now is calming down a little bit. Missed the big throw earlier to Camp in the first half. What would have been a 3rd down pickup. Starting to put it on the money now when they need it the most. They're under 2 minutes. Anything they can to chip away at this 12-point lead.
Just a yard or 2 for Jerry Howard.
Just keeping them honest, huh?
Yep.
Make sure. That, over the years, that's been one of the big home run plays. That little dive play.
There's Marshall again. Now the near side and a catch by Malachi Carter at the 19-yard line.
Started after they moved the chains. It looked like he was out of bounds.
Second catch of the year for Carter, who had one last week in Tampa. 1:20 to go. Marshall looking right, and Stewart. It's ruled incomplete with 1:14 to play. Brett Stewart saying he caught the ball here. Let you judge at home.
Yeah.
Looked like Motley batted it into his hands, James.
Yeah, batted it right into his forearm, and I don't think it ever touched the ground. It was a good play by Motley.
12th play of the drive here for Georgia Tech. Marshall on the pitch, and angled out of bounds is Amari Jarrett.
Good hustle by Virginis, just to get enough. Just enough to shut that play down. It was almost maybe to the house. And a little bit of a, well, we'll call it not a perfect angle for the middle linebacker, but he recovered just enough to knock him out of bounds and save what could have been a big play.
Minute 8 to go. Slot set for Georgia Tech. Marshall. And tried to get it to Stewart, and now a flag is thrown, I believe, against Paris Ford for the hold.
Holding. Defense, number 12. First down.
There's Stewart up top, and well, that wasn't anything compared to the 2-point conversion earlier that we watched at the break. They went for it, and there was a whole lot of jersey being held, and that one, I don't know anybody would have blamed him if they wouldn't have thrown it, but that's what it is, and it's a first down. Here we are at a minute. Sideline trying to get him loud in here.
Pat Narduzzi not happy. He'll turn and try and get the faithful to their feet. First down and goal now after the penalty on Ford. Marshall. Called draw at the 5. And Georgia Tech bench wants Marshall to get up on the football with 52 seconds left. Howard is the B-back. Here's the pitch, and around the edge, Clinton Lynch, the touchdown. So Clinton Lynch with 37 seconds left has scored on the run here to make it 24-18. And now here is Brenton King for the point after. And this is... King missed one earlier. Bottom line is, it's the onside kick that's going to tell the story of the game here, James. The point after is good. The drive is 14 plays, 99 yards in 3:31. Clinton Lynch, the touchdown, his first of the year. Onside kick coming up from Heinz Field. Pittsburgh 24, Georgia Tech 19, 37 seconds left. And with James Bates, Wes Durham, Rebecca Cable on the sidelines. And time for a quick look at the Logan's Roadhouse schedule. And James, we mentioned for Georgia Tech, they get Clemson at home, Bowling Green, and then at Louisville on a Friday night, at Virginia Tech, at Carolina, at Georgia are their remaining road games.
And it's not a road that has been nice to them as of late. 5 true road games in a row they've lost. And staring down the barrel of number 6 unless they can figure out a way to get the onside kick here.
They set it at the top 10 of their last 11 ACC road games. Only win in that mark is a 2010 at Virginia, or 16 at Virginia Tech. There's a high hop. Ball loose. It went out of bounds. Without being touched.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You can't ask for anything more from your kicker. How many times is it just a dud? But that's put up there right where you want it.
Yep.
And especially with the way the new rules are with onside kicks, where you can't send bombers down there to take out that first wave. Somebody's got through it, you know, and is that an 8 or a 9?
Celine Brightwell.
Celine Brightwell. Yep. Saves the day, really. He just wraps them up and tackles the would-be recipient.
Now, Georgia Tech has all 3 timeouts remaining here, but only 37 seconds left.
Panthers first and 10.
So after the onside kick and the penalty, Pittsburgh at its 49. Is handed to Kadri Olison, and Christian Campbell takes him down after about a 5-yard gain, and there's the first Georgia Tech timeout. Very challenging schedule for Pittsburgh when you think about Penn State last Saturday night. UCF is on the docket, and at Notre Dame on October the 13th. Panthers have one of the more challenging non-conference slates in the ACC this year.
Even after that game in Orlando, Syracuse comes to town, who put the hammer to the Seminoles. I don't know if it's a final yet, but looking to win big against Florida State here today.
That's Madure, the tight end, in motion. And this is Olison again. And Kadri Olison will have the first down. That'll do it. Yep. They'll move the chains. Don't forget, game 2 of our doubleheader. Hilltoppers and Cards tonight, Derby City, 7:30 on your regional sports network, part of your ACC Saturdays double dip. And then we're looking forward to being in Charlottesville next Saturday to see UVA and Louisville in a Coastal Atlantic clash at Scott Stadium. Paul Johnson and Pat Narduzzi, a handshake. Pittsburgh goes to 2-1 and 1-0 in the ACC. They beat Georgia Tech. Rebecca Capel now with Pat Narduzzi.
Coach Narduzzi, one step closer to the ultimate goal of the ACC championship game. What does it mean to beat your first ACC opponent of the season?
You know, it's great to be 1-0 today. I'm worried about this one, and, you know, the next one comes down the road. But I'm just so proud of our football team. These kids being resilient, fighting back after a tough loss last week. Everybody wondered how they were going to respond. They played an incredible first half. Second half, they came out and did what they needed to do to get the win.
The Tech made it interesting in the second half, and your quarterback going down in the first half, able to come back, finish strong. What does it say about this team and the way they were able to finish this game?
You know, it shows character, it shows maturity. I talked about, you know, maturity at the half, about, you know, what are we going to do? And I think they responded. Georgia Tech's a good football team. They know how to run the ball. I thought we did an unbelievable job on defense. And even in the second half, we still made some critical errors with penalties, offensively and defensively, that can hurt you in that goal of an ACC championship.
Coach, congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Hail to Pitt.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Off to Chapel Hill for the Panthers. Georgia Tech gets number 2 Clemson next Saturday in Atlanta, James.
Well, he was anxious to see how his team played, and I think we were too, to see how both these teams responded. Huge win for Pitt today.
Well, don't forget Western Kentucky at Louisville tonight at 7:30 on your regional sports network. Evan Lepler, Takeo Spikes, and Lindsey Rowley. For James Bates, Rebecca Capel, our producer Dave Berger, our director Lonnie Dale. West Durham from Heinz Field. Thanks for watching ACC football. A 5-point win for Pittsburgh.